Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, a great millstone, who are teaching the truth with sincerity. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Brakatum. So lots happened since the 4th of July, as you could tell, though, that pretty much Persia has responded to the recent piracy of the UK and the US and the bullshit sanctions against Syria and Iran. So pretty much, at least the flock, Amalek has drawn them into this war. And so Persia did exactly what they said they was going to do. It's like, well, all right, you want to play that game? We can play that game too. We will start seizing shipments. And sure enough, from the Sea of Oman, they had seized it. Attempted to seize a UK vessel. I guess the UK vessel got away, but nonetheless, though, this is definitely an escalation of war, which is exactly what they wanted to do, was to provoke Iran to war, so that way they would have a pretext for going to war with Iran, you know. And so we know that that's around the corner, but before that all can take place, before the final sparks can be set on this, because World War III has already been happening, but before the final nukes go off, you know, of course, the mark, the RFID implant, has to be made mandatory. And we're seconds away from that, because what people are failing to look at, except for the elect of us, is the famine that's happening. It is happening, but people are failing to look at it because they look at their store goods and all that, and they think, oh, okay, well, you know, things ain't too bad right now. Yeah, everything's going to look pretty good before it finally goes off, when there becomes a shortage. And one of those things that is affected is cotton. Cotton makes most of your clothes. So, yeah, you ain't even going to be able to get new clothes after a while, or it's just going to be so expensive, too. And that's right around the corner as well. So this is another part of the famine, because things did not get planted this year, because the Most High is visiting this place like he said he would. Nonetheless, though, we can see, though, that war has been escalated, you know, and this is what they had wanted, a reason to go in, because you can't really say that Iran are the terrorist groups when they're fighting against the terrorists. They're helping Bashar al-Assad to fight against the terrorist groups, and everybody knows that. Everybody knows that ISIS is controlled by the United States and its allies. Everybody knows that the United States is in Syria protecting ISIS and helping all the other terror groups, most of all, seizing the oil from Syria, which is the whole reason why they had seized that shipment. So that way they can just pretty much wage their war on Syria by pretty much breaking them, you know, financially. However, though, they are still going to fail. They're going to fail big time, because, of course, you still got Magog, who's a guard thou unto them, and like everything else, though, you know, we're going to see the fallout of this. Eventually, UK vessels and other vessels will be seized in that sea there, because, and that's what they want. They want to have a reason to go to war with Iran. That's what this has all been about. Chris Green's been reporting that for years, though, that it's not really about a war with Syria. It's really about a war with Iran. They want to finally move into Iran. And then you, of course, had that other guy that you know, took a look at the places they're going to invade. Are we going to go into Iraq? And they're like, oh, no, it's worse than that. And at the very end of it, Yemen, Syria, Iran. You know, but they were going to go into Iraq again, and they were going to go into Libya and Yemen, and that's exactly what's happened. So you can see, though, that Iran was last on the list. Last but not least. Not to mention all the other wars around the world, and all these are taking prophecy against Esau. So I'm going to read out of Ezekiel chapter 38, because we know that Putin, the leader of Magog, is drawn into this. Son of man, this is starting verse 2. Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and prophesy against him. You know, so pretty much Most High is coming against all these kingdoms of Edom. And say, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and I will bring thee north and all thine army, and horses and horsemen, all them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all them handling swords. And that's what's happening. As you can tell, though, that you know, as of 2014, Russia has moved into Syria with the you know, cooperation with the Syrian government. He's the only one that's really working with the Syrian government besides Persia, but it's really a war on oil. This is what this is being fought over. Persia, Ethiopia, Libya, with all them as a shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, which is talking about Turkey, you know, that's who's also there, and there's a lot of fighting in Afrin right now, you know, and they're pretty much seizing all the treasures from Syria. The houses of Takarma, the north quarters, and all the bands and many people with thee, you know, because we know that Gomer's been playing both sides. They got the S-400s, you know, they're still working secretly with Magog, but at the same time pretending to be an ally. Well, they're not pretending, you know, they pretty much said that the S-400s are a done deal. You know, and they don't care whether they get the F-35s or not. If not, they're already looking into the Russian jets, you know. Be thou prepared, and prepare for thyself, thou and all the company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou guard unto them. And that's what Russia has been, you know, pretty much protecting all of them. And before Russia even got there, Persia's always been a guard unto these places. Hezbollah and all these other things have stopped the Zionist entity from taking over the Middle East. So, you know, now Gomer, or Magog is in there, you know, and Gomer wants what he wants as well. And many days thou shalt be visited in the latter years, and thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, which is talking about, of course, you know, it's talking about Edom in particularly, and is gathered out of many people against the merchants or mountains of Yashala, which have been always waste, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. It's talking about those of us that make it onto the chariots. We're going to dwell safely, you know, pretty much during this time period. And also, when they took over Jerusalem, we also had dwelled safely during that time period as well, you know. It wasn't able to hunt down and kill all Israelites. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, it shall come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that's what they're thinking, though. Like, I think that, you know, we should seize that vessel and cut off Syria, you know, from being prosperous. And then, of course, Persia said, look, man, we could do the same thing, you know. And eventually they will. To take a spoil and to take a prey, which is what's happened. That's all that America does, is go in and steal all the spoils of the land. They have conquered North Syria, and they have all that oil up there. To turn thy hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods, that dwell in the midst of the land. You know? Pretty much, though, all these places have been made rich by America, because it gets into it, because Dedan, which is another term for Edom, right here, Sheba and Dedan, and the merchants of Tarshish, which with all of them young lions thereof, shall say unto thee, art thou come to take a spoil? Yeah, man, they have carved up Syria and taken what they want from Syria, and pretty much have destroyed Syria. They did the same thing to Libya. They've done the same in Yemen. You know, and they're still terrorizing people in Yemen, Libya, and Syria. You know, have they not gathered enough? No, man, they're just going to keep on. Hast thou gathered the company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, in that day, when my people of Yashala dwell safely, then shalt thou not know it? Yeah, man, because pretty much at the same time when they bring down Babylon the Great, America, at the same time we shall go up in them chariots, so they're going to know it. Everybody around the world is going to see them chariots. And thou shalt come up against my people of Yashala as a cloud, which is talking about the chariot, the big one, to cover the land. It shall be in the latter days, and I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know when I shall sanctify it in thee, oh Yahweh before their eyes. Again, you know, what's going to happen is, yeah, of course, you know that Ashdod is going to pretty much be taken down, you know, and Magog's going to come up against Ashdod. But at this point, though, you know as well as I do that that's when Yasharahla, the real people of Yasharahla, is going to be there. Because we're going to be in them chariots, and we're going to watch Tel Aviv and all them places get destroyed by Magog. And then we're going to destroy Magog. Because we were taken in by force, so they must be brought down by force. And like everything else, though, you know, those that want to say that not all Edom's going to be destroyed, yeah, of course they're going to go into slavery, but that's about it. You know, those that don't get destroyed in this. But think about it this way, though. If Edom could be saved and be partakers with us, well, when's the last time you heard of an Edomite actually apologizing for all the wrongs that they did? Yeah, you see a few of them, but when do you really see them come up to a camp and say, you know what, you're right. We've been living on stolen land. This is your land. Here's the deed to my house and to my car and everything. May I offer my services unto you. I have wronged you. I've never seen it. Now, man, giving themselves up as a slave and offer their home and their car and everything, surrender that to an Israelite? No, man, Esau was never going to surrender. He thinks it's his, even though he knows damn well that it's stolen. And that's, you know, those that, you know, all right. An Edomite doesn't have any sorrow whatsoever. That's why he won't do this, you know? And if you do see someone doing it, it's probably because they don't know that they're an Israelite yet, but yet are a confusion of faith, so they think in the back of their mind that they're an Edomite, but at the same time, though, they have remorse and all that. Those are the only people you're going to see that would do such a thing. So the Edomites cannot be saved whatsoever, but they are going into slavery. Those that don't get destroyed in this nuclear war, because this nuclear war is going to happen. 200 million nuclear missiles will be shot off. Most of all, though, you're going to get caught in that judgment if you take that mark, that RFID implant, which is just right around the corner. That's why they're causing the famines, they're causing the economies to crash, because they want everybody on them chips. You know, that you will not be able to buy, sell, or trade unless you receive that mark in your right hand or in your forehead. And that's why you can't really do anything without that chip nowadays. You know, it's in the cards. And, hey, you know, everybody's converted now to the real ID. That was forced upon everyone. What do you think that's for? That has a tracking chip in there. Or you get the federal non-compliant one, you know, and I'm sure they're still tracking even in the federal non-compliant one, but everybody must comply by 2020. You know, my ID is a federal non-compliant, you know, because, of course, man, you know, I refuse. And you got to be resistant of this devil, you know. You can't go to G-Men for any help. You know, because that's adultery, that's fornication. You're going to Esau for help. You're going there to try to ask for more rights, you know. Now, man, Most High is going to take care of his elect, and he's going to punish the 2/3 right along with Esau. And you can see that all are joined together, you know. And a lot of people, this is going to catch them off guard. But this will happen. There is a famine that's going on. And just people are going to sleep right through it until it finally overtakes them. When they notice that they can't really get anything for what they make, that's when they're going to start noticing things, and then they're going to start breaking into houses to steal it. Just look at car fire alone, man. Now people are breaking into houses more and more because they see that you got it and they ain't got it anymore, so they're just going to take it. Pretty much Taco Bell has become a free-for-all, man. You know, the soda's only $1 if you pay for it. Many people are going into Taco Bell and just filling up this soda and not getting caught. And one time you get caught is when you try to fill up a big ice tray, which I seen the other day. You know, pretty much it's a free-for-all. It's a cesspool. That's what Car Fire has done. And hey, Redding was a cesspool before that. It's just now everything's intensified. And that's just what's going to happen. Beginning of sorrows. That's just the beginning of many things to come. So I hope all this has been edifying. Get this while you can, because we're not going to be out here much longer, because they are looking to shut this down. Apostle Tahar is now on another channel because they removed 2 of his videos, gave him 2 strikes within the same day. That's why he's on another channel. So if they could do that to our Apostle Tahar, what do you think they're going to do to us? So get this while you still can. For that, I want to say, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem Rakakadosh, Wa Abba Babal.